David John Howard Thompson, December 25th, 1961 to October 23rd, 2010. On this solemn morning, we meet to memorialize the short but illustrious life of a man who became our beacon in every storm. A friend with a helping hand was needed, a sure head in the midst of uncertainty. I am grateful to Mara, widow of our beloved, now lamented Prime Minister, for inviting me to give this funeral oration. I feel both the hand of history and the humbling honor associated with closing the final chapter of David Thompson's short but impressive life. He was cut down before he could accomplish the agenda he had set himself in government. In that sense, his full promise was unfulfilled. But oh, how much he had done in so short a space of time. How many lives he had touched for the better. How greatly loved and admired he was, as much by the boys on the block as the captains of industry. He was known by those of us close to him as the Chief, not because he demanded it, but because he inspired it. He would have been just as content to be called simply David, as the majority of people of Barbados did, not with disrespect, but with affection. The fondest memories of this eminent son of Barbados have been etched in the hearts of thousands of us, because he was a leader who raised the level of our ambition and gave us confidence that our aspirations, both as individuals and as a nation, could be achieved in triumph. David Thompson knew the loneliness of a prime minister on whose shoulders alone lay the burden of making final decisions that would affect the nation. It was a burden that he carried with quiet dignity, even as he contemplated deeply on the consequences of his decisions. But he was strengthened in the isolation of his position by one and only one overriding factor. Every decision he made had ultimately to serve the people of Barbados, all of them. There could be no more noble or more worthy a basis for a prime minister to make decisions. He bore all things with equanimity, and so at the start of his illness, I recall him inviting me to his study on 3 separate occasions in 2 days, clearly wishing to say something but not knowing how. It was only after he made the personal decision that the people of Barbados should be prepared for the worst that he said to me, and I quote, "Hartley, I do not want you getting all bent out of shape, but the doctor's report is not good." His preoccupation thereafter was with how we could share this deeply tragic information without causing alarm and affecting the smooth governance of Barbados and the conduct of its business. He insisted he wanted to explore any and all avenues of possible recovery, while preparing the nation gradually for the worst. In the end, his judgment proved to be wise. For even though the news of his death when it came was numbing and hurtful, even among those who expected it, he had put in place all the arrangements for the smooth conduct of government and of the nation's business. The Chief was a homegrown prime minister. Although his navel string was buried in England, this compatriot was nurtured in our uniquely Bajan manner. Tutored exclusively in the Caribbean, he brought an Antilles focus, a regional perspective to all his endeavors. Mentored by the late Right Excellent Errol Barrow, David Thompson subscribed to the view that our nation could be friend to all without being a satellite of any. His Bajan anecdotes resonated with ordinary folk. His unpretentious lifestyle impressed even casual observers. His ideas created great admirers, accumulating loyalty during his 23 years as a member of Parliament. No wonder we saw such an outpouring of grief everywhere on that sad morning of Saturday, October 23rd. This transformative leader was the essence of Bajan symbolism. David Thompson's life story is the finest example that youthfulness need not be a barrier to accomplishment. His success is a potent symbol to every young person within our Barbadian shores and beyond, that any of them, from whatever circumstances, who is prepared to work hard and focus, can impact national governance and serve their country with distinction. He has been and always will be an excellent role model for our youth. His public service started as a teenager. One evening, removed evidence of his school identity so that he could go to the headquarters of the Democratic Labour Party as an individual, not as a pupil of Combermere. But these two identities never faded in his heart and were intertwined in all that he did in his efforts to advance Barbados. He was a Combermerian and a Dem. All of us love and cherish our alma mater, but I am yet to meet a more sentimental alumnus than David Thompson. Combermere School influenced almost every facet of his life. Persons who knew him well discovered that the secret to uplifting and cheering him in moments of anxiety and depression